Coming up on Theater Talk.
Imagine if we had earwigs in Blackbird.
Oh my God.
We're waiting for some guy with a script.
Theater Talk is made possible in part by the CUNY TV Foundation. From New York City, this is Theater Talk. I'm Susan Haskins.
And I'm Michael Riedel of the New York Post. Now, Susan, one of my favorite actors is Jeff Daniels, who not only is a terrific film actor, but really one of our great American stage actors. Welcome to Theater Talk.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the success of the play he is in now, giving a harrowing, brilliant, and unforgettable performance in Blackbird by David Harrower at the Belasco Theater. Congratulations on the success of the play.
Thank you very much.
Now, there's certain things we don't want to give away in this play, of course.
Like everything.
But is it fair to talk about your character and his particular? All right, you play a man who had a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old in the past.
I think that's giving away.
There was an illegal relationship. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
that's pretty specifically true. And it's 15 years later.
Right.
And she showed up at my place of work. Mm-hmm. I am now living 7 hours away from where it occurred. I served time in prison. Mm-hmm. I've changed my name. I've created a new life, trying to move on. And out of nowhere, she finds me and she shows up and she wants to talk about it.
All right. And that is essentially the play. And there was a lot of...
And you're stuck in a room with these two people in a conference room at his pick-a-company conference room.
That's right.
It's that wonderful drama premise. It's man, woman, and an insurmountable problem.
Right, that's right.
And a door.
Right.
And they can't leave.
I was thinking about that because goes back to oftentimes when you're an acting student or an acting exercise. Why doesn't the person leave?
Yeah. Why don't you just leave?
Yeah, why don't you walk out?
And Harrower, the playwright, it's pretty evident why. Neither one of us can leave.
Leave, exactly. And I love the I guess what you would call the metaphor of there's a lot of garbage in this conference room, and for some that garbage just does not stay in that trash can.
No, it doesn't.
This man's life does not stay where he's tried to contain it.
That's good. I like that.
That works.
Go with that. Never thought of it that way. I just thought it was trash I had to put in the thing that wouldn't fit.
It's not good for actors to think these deep ways. Leave that to the critics.
You can't act metaphors.
You can't act that. You cannot act that. So when this play crosses your desk and you read it, what was your attraction to this character?
Lynn Meadow at Manhattan Theater Club sent it to me in 2006, maybe. And the movie career was not great, and I was bored with what I was doing, and the opportunities didn't seem to be there. And she took a shot. She took a flyer. Maybe Jeff would want to come back to the theater. It's been a while. And she sent me Blackbird, and I didn't know how to do it. And I said yes. Partly to get away from what I was doing in Hollywood, but also I didn't know how I was going to pull this off. So I would have to work really hard to figure that out. And the challenge of acting came back again.
You sure figured out how to do it.
Well, Joe Mantello was a big help, the director then, and we did it with Alison Pill. And it was, but you don't always get that in Hollywood. You do what you did before, just do it for us.
Right.
And this wasn't that by any stretch. And I dove in.
Now, I saw it in 2007, and then I saw it again the other night. And I asked you if you were tired because you give such a performance, just excruciating. You said you were less tired now than you were in 2007. How so?
Yeah, I think it has to do with film. For me, specifically, it has to do with Newsroom.
Oh, well, and I have to say that's my favorite TV series probably ever.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But Newsroom, especially with Sorkin, there was so much dialogue, so much preparation, so much work just to get ready for today, let alone tomorrow, let alone Friday, let alone the next week, that it was in and out, in and out, in and out. You also, you give them options. We're shooting fast. So here's take 1, which is different than take 2, which is different than take 3. Going to speed it up on 4 and slow it down on 5.
And your
now
character-
you've got options. So now you come into Blackbird on Broadway, and you're with Michelle, who's been nominated for an Oscar 3 times, not by accident.
Yeah.
And so how do we bring film, that urgency and that immediacy and that it's only happening tonight, 8 shows a week, to Blackbird with an emotional descent into hell that we got to do?
Yeah.
And I think the film thing really helps us. We're not giving those quintessential stage performances that we've all seen, and certainly actors have seen, where you're watching it and you're going, you're not here. You're thinking about Joe Allen's. You're thinking about you're thinking about who. You just looked into the audience.
Your friend is here from.
Just looked into the audience. I saw you looking. You're giving the speech and you're not here. And with Michelle and Joe, I've just said, the audience just happens to be there. We could care less about you. We really could. It's 2 people in this room trying to figure out, you just happen to be watching. And now let's make it different every night. Let's make Thursday different than Friday, but take 2 different than take 3. We're still in where Joe wants us to be,
Right.
but he's given us that room, that latitude to make it come alive.
So what would make it different I'm just
Even in terms of
Some nights I'm looking at you saying it, sometimes I'm not.
But you have that freedom.
Some nights I'm
Yeah.
coming in under.
Yes.
Some nights I'm pounding you right across the forehead to Michelle.
Yeah.
And she has to react differently, and it becomes alive. And everybody says, "Oh, what's chemistry?" It's 2 people ping-ponging tennis at a boom, boom. Now tonight it's over here.
Right.
And you got to go. You can't just wait for you to stop talking
Yeah.
and then do what you've done 8 times a week. We'll smell that. We'll smell it.
Do you have the freedom in the blocking too? Can you change
Not really.
the map at all?
I mean, he gives you a little bit of movement, but and Joe was saying it needs to be spontaneous. Pick it up. If it's on your mind, let it come out of your mouth. Don't manufacture some motivation with your objective that you learned in acting class 20 years ago. And who cares? React. Acting is reacting, and you certainly learn that with the speed of film or a newsroom where there's no rehearsal.
Yeah.
Where you got to rely on Emily Mortimer or Sam Waterston, and he gives it to you and you take it and the camera catches it because it happened for the first time. That's what Michelle and I are trying to do every night.
It's very interesting you say that, because we had Brian Denny on the show when he was doing Long Day's Journey into Night with Vanessa Redgrave. And he said he'd done it out in Chicago, and he thought, I know this play, done this part. He said the moment he started working with Vanessa Redgrave, she did it differently every single night, to the point he didn't know where her entrance was going to be. Sometimes she'd come down from the attic, sometimes she'd come in from the porch, sometimes she'd come up from the root cellar.
That's a little extreme.
Brian at first didn't like it, but then he came to really like it, because he said with her, you were living that moment every night.
Yep.
And it was different. It was not, hey, I got to get to the theater to do this play because that's my job.
I've always said that 8 times a week, week after week, month after month, it's designed to beat the performance out of you. Performance number 100 has just, you can't do it anymore. Yeah. And what's fascinating as a stage actor is to find that you get better at it and you can make it even more alive and more moment to moment. Mm-hmm. If you approach it that way, like Vanessa did, or like we're trying to do in Blackbird.
I mean, the highest compliment I can give you is you don't see the acting.
God.
I mean, it's all right. Jeff Daniels comes in, and it's interesting because I was just saying the other night. You come in, you're a star. There's some applause, but it goes away quickly because of the state you are in when you walk on that stage. It is not a star entrance.
No.
This is a man whose world has just cracked up.
Yeah, the applause gets in the way, to be honest.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Which is nice. It's terrific. Stop doing that. We're here.
Precisely. Exactly. I do want you to take me back to one of my favorite theaters, no longer with a Circle rep, and you were a big part of that company. Can you just sort of tell us what it was like, your kind of first day on the job there at Circle Rep? If you could just evoke that world for us.
At 21 years old, fresh out of a cornfield in a Norman Rockwell town in Michigan, I pulled into Greenwich Village, realized I might be the only straight guy there.
I think so.
Walked into the Circle Rep offices. Marshall W. Mason, who was the artistic director, had found me in a college production and brought me here to be an apprentice. I walk in, first day, September 1976, and there's Lanford Wilson. We had just done our college production of Hot O Baltimore. And playwrights are dead. They aren't living and breathing. They're Shakespeare, they're Ibsen, but here was a living, breathing playwright. It was the first star I'd ever met.
Did he hit on you?
No, he laid there, he sat there in his chair like Lanford would. And I Mr. Wilson, hello, I'm Jeff Daniels, yes, how are you? Hey, doll, how are you? And I'm fumbling for words, and I said, we just did Hot O Baltimore, and oh yeah, it's a good play, it's not bad, not bad. What are you doing now? He goes, oh, trying to write a second act. It was Lanford.
With the cigarettes?
Never changed. It was always that bigger than life.
Yeah. I do want you to also evoke a place that's gone too, but I used to hang out there where the journalists and the actors hung out, the Lion's Head. Oh. That was the pub that was across the street.
Yes, it was.
There must have been some wild Circle Rep nights.
Yes, there were. I can't name names, but he's under the table. And I have to get him home. Yeah. It wasn't Lanford, though he certainly could put it down. But no, it was. That was a wild.
But it must have been an exciting time though, because you were all young actors, and we talked about this before the camera. But living in New York when you could afford to live in New York, you didn't have to pay $750,000 for your walk-up studio apartment. You could all live down there. You could eat in the Village. You could do things on a budget. You didn't have any money when you came here.
I'm concerned about New York City now for the young artist, and because back then you didn't have to be rich to come here. Now, where do people, like out of my Purple Rose Theater Company, they come and they live in Queens and they live in Hoboken or I lived in Staten Island in the 70s.
Where is your Purple Rose? Is that gone?
In Chelsea. No,
Chelsea.
we're
It's Chelsea
25
now,
years
right?
old,
Yeah.
professional theater.
Excellent.
In Chelsea, Michigan, right near Ann Arbor. And these
Right.
young artists that I used to be come trained. I mean, we train them like that I got at Circle Rep. Come to New York, they stay for 6 months a year, and they when they leave,
They
can't afford it. So does that mean the young artists of today have to be rich with daddy's trust funds? Because where's the middle class artist, which is where all of them really tend to come from. Yeah. The true hunger and ambition and see the dream and have that talent that just, that's what happened with me. My dad owned a lumber company, that was it. And you're going to be an actor? And you go with this dream. And if you don't, I don't know how they do it nowadays. The money, they're going to go elsewhere. They're not going to come to New York. The level of talent on the young artist is going to go down.
Yeah, and
because if you have to be rich to be here,
it knocks a whole group of people out who've got a lot of talent but who are not going to have a chance.
And it changes the look of people in things.
Changes the look, and I don't know. I don't have the answer. Maybe they're gonna all go to digital movies and do all that. Maybe that's the next frontier.
And then, speaking of you being a young actor, we recently had Reed Birney here, and you were his understudy on Broadway and Gemini.
I was.
But tell us about that. We were talking about your understudy experience.
Marshall Mason got me because I was in New York for about a year, and I was threatening to leave. I wanted to go back and work at the lumber company. He was going, no, you're not. Stay here. And he said, I'm going to give you a job as an understudy. Gemini, Albert Inaudito's play was moving to Broadway with Danny Aiello and everybody. They had very, very successful Circle Rep. And you're going to understudy 3 roles. You're going to understudy Reed Birney, Bob Picardo, and Jonathan Hodari.
John, yeah.
And I'm going, wow, Broadway. I can do that. And I literally had colored the script in 3 different colors. I had it down. I could do each one. I was there every night for 5 months. Never went out. Never went out. I remember Picardo throwing up in a bucket at 5 minutes to 8 going, Bob, I'm in the clothes. I'm in the clothes.
But those are the professionals. But my friends of mine, like Harvey Firestein, say, with some of the kids, he's a Hairspray. They go to the dentist and they call out for the whole day.
Oh,
yes,
man,
your thoughts on that? Yeah,
when we were doing God of Carnage, We heard about West Side. Was it West Side Story?
Yes, the kids. Yeah, they were. Yeah, yeah.
Kids were driving. They'd get hung over. They wouldn't show up at
Exactly.
a Wednesday matinee. And I remember telling Gandolfini, Jim was sort of new to the theater scene. We hired the understudies, you know, during previews. And Jim said, "When do they go on?" I said, "They go on in Baltimore. They go on in Philly. They go on in D.C. We don't miss a show."
Did he miss? Or did he never
Jim
miss?
Gandolfini never missed a
Great,
show.
yeah.
256 shows from March 1st to Thanksgiving. Didn't miss a show.
That's good.
So then we heard about the West Side Story kids dropping out.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh, let me over there. Let me over there. Let me over
What would you say? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. What would you
Get
tell-
out of here. I'd say get out of here. Go home. You're not. This isn't how it's done.
but
This
it's
is
in the
not how it's
culture
done.
now.
Huh?
It's in the culture now.
My attitude is go to Hollywood. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We don't need you. This is hard work. Film actors can't do what we do.
Right.
Sometimes we can go, and I love being one of the guys who can go to stage, go to film. But we've had, Michelle and I have had, and Carnage, I remember actors would come back who've done film. Big name people going, I can't do what you guys do.
We see a lot of actors who come from film and they can't do it.
Can't do
They
it.
don't have it.
And that was one of the
Yeah.
things with casting of Blackbird, with getting Michelle, is that she had done Cabaret before. She had
Yeah.
done Killer Joe.
Right.
So she knew the drill. She knew what 8 shows a week meant. And there were some names floating around before Michelle that were, what about so-and-so? I said, she's never done a play. Yeah, but she might be. I said, no. Here's the problem. She'll open on March 10th. But where's she going to be on April 20th? What's she going to be like on May 5th? Because I'll tell you what she's going to suck. And I'm going to be standing next to her. So enough with the movie star thing. If you don't know the drill,
Yep.
stay in Hollywood. It's okay. It's okay. We don't need you.
I'm not naming names, but recently had a big, though aging movie star starring in a play, and he had an IFB in his ear, and he did not have stage presence. But I'm sure that his people lulled him into believing he could do it.
I'm not going to bash guys who
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Pacino had gotten for China Doll had gotten written up about that, and I'm
Well, but
here.
he was better than you think.
Well,
Yeah.
listen. I'm a Dog Day Afternoon is
Yeah.
one of the reasons I came to New York.
Yeah.
And he was a stage actor, a great stage actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not in my 70s, and it's
Right.
you just can't keep
Yeah.
him in there, and
Yeah.
so and I know that's been.
But
having
this isn't
some-
him, no.
No, but if it's just laziness, if it's just you and your approach, you don't need to be here.
But isn't it a different skill, a different energy to
Oh my
hold
God.
stage?
Of course.
Oh my God! I mean, in Blackbird, imagine if we had earwigs in Blackbird. Oh
my God.
We're waiting for some guy with a script. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I told Michelle, I said, we're going to get good reviews just because we know our damn lines."
Exactly. I have been harping on this in my column. You have a job to do, and if you're an actor on the stage, the job is
How
to
much
know
are
the
they
line.
paying? How much are they paying to see you on Broadway? Too much money. The least you c- I mean, and Michelle and I take this approach. We have an obligation to live up not only to the characters. You got to pretend they're alive and they're sitting in the back of the house. You got to. They're doing that, but you have an obligation to the people paying this amount of money to throw everything you got at it 8 times a week. I don't give a damn if it's a Wednesday matinee.
Yeah, right.
Throw everything you got at it. Otherwise, go home. Get somebody else. And that goes to the kids that are dropping out and not I didn't come in Thursday night, but get out of here. Get out of here. You don't get it. You don't get it.
That's the work ethic you instill in the kids that you teach at the Purple Rose of Cairo Theater? Just the
Purple Rose Theater Company.
Purple Rose
show
Theater
up. Show up. And professionalism, reliability, bring everything you got every night. Find a way to get there every night. It's not okay to phone it in. It's not okay to kind of sort of do it because it's Thursday.
But that was the ethos of Circle Rep, right? When you worked down there?
Well, yeah. I mean, Marshall would drop in unannounced, and if you were phoning it in, you heard about it. But no, the whole circle rep thing was more about moment to moment and all of that. This is just about learning how to do it 8 times a week and being on stage with someone who's not there.
When you were a young actor and you came to New York and you started at Circle Rep, was there a moment or something Marshall or Lanford said to you where you realized there's a kind of acting that I don't know how to do yet that I'm going to have to learn how to do? That they're going to push me in a way I didn't think was possible?
When 5th of July, Lanford's play, I don't speak very much in the play, but I listen all the time. Tanya Berezin told me this, who is one of the founders of Circle Rep. An opening night card, I think I still have it, she goes, you hear every word that's said in that house. And so that's what I would do. And I listened, which teaches you to react. Spencer Tracy's one of the great reactors ever. Where it's not, you know, Hollywood doesn't do us any service by, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. It's you're acting in front of a mirror. Well, you can't, not at Circle Rep. Take the mirror down. It's all about you. It's all about, in Blackbird, it's all about Michelle. 5th of July, I would stand on a porch while they were inside the living room, the other 6 characters or so, talking, and I was just sitting there in the shadows looking down at the garden or whatever for 15 minutes. And Hogan, John Hogan, would say something, his character, that was important to log or land. And I would just turn my head and look. And Lanford said the entire audience went with you. And it was just stuff like that, simple little reactions that Circle Rep taught me, which is it's the secret to chemistry, all of that. I didn't know it at the time, but certainly it stayed with me through film.
And you were in terms of endearment with Jack Nicholson and Shirley MacLaine, and that was something. And I'm going to ask you a question. I hope you don't think I'm being rude. Why did you take Dumb and Dumber 2?
The career was not going well.
For Dumb and Dumber 2?
Oh, 2?
Yes.
I wanted to be with Jim again.
Oh, you wanted to be with Jim. Okay.
How much money? I wanted to be with
Well,
Jim.
Hey, work is work.
I really did want to be with Jim again.
And it didn't affect you, but you've just been Will McAvoy. Will McAvoy.
Oh, but that's the fun of it.
That was what I thought.
That's the fun of it, because guys like Michael, they'll write and they'll go, well, or not, but certainly in Hollywood, they'll go, okay, they want to brand you.
Yes.
And I mean, you see the action guys, you know, the
and
Cruises
they're branded,
and the Schwarzeneggers and the Stallone, all those guys, the action guys, Bruce Willis, and they've got great careers. God bless them. I mean, they were doing that since Gable and Tracy. You'd Cagney, you'd get the one thing, Edward G. Robinson, and you'd play to that. And you had a great career. You made a lot of money. It's great. That's okay. I just didn't want to do that. We never heard that in Circle Rep. We never heard, okay, you got a part in this play that we're going to do. We want you to do what you did in that last play. Just do it here.
Right.
You hear that on film and TV, but you don't. It was always completely new, completely different. So to win the Emmy for McAvoy on a Sunday night, which, by the way, was a huge surprise in that room when they called my name.
Really?
So not
Even
to
to you?
me. Not to me.
Oh,
I never made
trust
it.
me.
Yeah.
I was
Really?
at someone else's party.
Oh, well.
And when they had said my name,
And the Emmy goes to Jeff Daniels.
there was a woman behind me as I was getting up, said, "What?"
Dumb.
Got up, but to win the Emmy on a Sunday night, and then Tuesday morning, day 1 of Dumb and Dumber 2, crossing the street, getting off the bus with a butt crack showing. I'm going, yeah, I think this is range.
All right.
That's good. That's great.
Right.
We got to wrap it up. The play is Blackbird. Terrific
But
play.
not the feel-good experience of the year.
No,
oh
Jeff Daniels
my God,
is absolutely
it's incredible.
brilliant, very important, harrowing, dramatic play, and you will not see acting like this very often anywhere. Congratulations, and
Thank you, Michael.
thanks for being
Susan.
our guest. Pleasure.
So, Michael, we have a minute left. So, give us an insight or prediction from your insider perspective.
Well, and I think this is going to be a little unexpected, but I believe that Hamilton is going to win Best Musical at the Tonys this year.
Right.
And I think Lin-Manuel is going to win for his book
And his performance, I think.
and his score.
You're phoning this one. Tell us something really.
I disagree with you on Lin-Manuel winning for his performance. It's going to be Leslie Odom Jr. plays Aaron Burr. He is going to beat Lin-Manuel Miranda
I disagree.
for the Tony.
Now-
Yeah, we are wrong. I'm the one with the insider knowledge.
Well, you're so good in your predictions.
Did your mother ever tell you not to point? It's impolite, Susan.
All right, now tell us something that nobody knows. Besides Leslie Odom Jr. that's going around, and tell us one more thing.
One more thing that nobody knows.
Yep.
My book, Razzle Dazzle.
No. Something else.
I don't know. I have
Something else.
nothing.
You know, somebody actually wrote me and said, yeah, Michael Rito's getting all this free advertising of Razzle
Good,
Dazzle.
excellent.
That's
Fine.
disgraceful. Now tell us one insider
That was
thing.
funny, though, the Lin-Manuel. We should keep that.
Yes,
That
we're
was fun.
keeping everything.
But I
Tell
say
me-
the best musical.
That's right. Tell me one more thing.
Well, once again, Anna Wintour, Her Highness of Fashion, will be taking over the red carpet and dressing a number of the nominees because she thinks the Tony Awards are schlubby. And she runs the red carpet now, and she's going to stock it with a bunch of leggy Russian models. And the
Right.
Kardashians are coming to Broadway probably again.
That's just pathetic.
And I think Donald Trump may put in an appearance.
The world as we know it is almost gone, and it's a very sad thing.
Well, you know, Susan, it's all about glamour
And money.
and money.
Yep.
And I want both.
Okay, everybody.
That's depressing.
At least I'll be back here next week. All right. See you next time.
With
on
no
Theater
money
Talk.
and no glamour.
Oh, I have my own glamour. All right, goodbye. Our thanks to the Friends of Theater Talk for their significant contribution to this production. Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Frederick Lowe Foundation, the Corey and Bob Dinelli Charitable Fund, the Noel Coward Foundation, Carrie J. Fries, the Dorothy Strelson Foundation, and the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs.
We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you,